So you're thinking of building a real estate team. The biggest mistake I see is the first thing people do is they get a buyer's agent, right? No. First, the hire you want to get is either an ISA, which is an inside sales agent, which could actually prospect for you to get you additional business and keep you off of the phones as often as you are. And the next thing is to maybe get an assistant, right? Or a transaction coordinator. Do not go out and hire a buyer's agent first, because all you're going to do essentially is get bottlenecked in paperwork at some point. So these are the things that we do when we're bringing on new agents to our team to make sure the agents are a good fit for our team and our team culture. So you have an assistant and you have a transaction coordinator and you're doing too much business still. Now it's time to start adding agents to your team. The first question we ask is, do you have a full-time job already? Because if you do, you may not be a good fit. Actually, I know you're not a good fit for our team because we are a full-time team. Our agents are busy from sun up to sundown. So having a full-time job is not going to work if you're going to join our team. I've seen other team leaders bring agents on that are kind of part-time, and guess what? You get part-time results. We've talked about this previously in other videos, but it is even more important because I've thought about it a lot of times, and guess what? Sometimes team leaders are caught in a very tight place. You need people because you're too busy. So it kind of makes sense, oh, well, I'll just change it up and we'll see how this will work. I'm telling you, what's gonna happen is you're gonna find that they are gonna give poor service to your clients because they are gonna be too busy with their other job. The second question we ask potential agents is, why did you get into real estate, right? If they tell you they got into real estate for, oh, the freedom of not having to work full time, making my own schedule, all the things that look great on HGTV, that's not the reality of being an agent, especially in a team model where you're providing leads and potential opportunities to people. You want to make sure that they know that this is not easy. This is hard work, and it's going to take a lot of nights, evenings, holidays if they want to be successful in the real estate world. Another great question you can ask potential agents is, why are you leaving your last brokerage? This usually opens the floodgates and they start puking all over you. All the reasons that their last broker was so horrible and the time which it was just bad, bad, bad. Deep down, I'm looking for an OYS moment, an own your shit moment. Because guess what? If they keep pointing the finger at everybody else, it's the broker's problem, it's that brokerage's problem, blah, 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 and they're not looking in at themselves, they may not be a good fit for our team because guess what? It takes two to tango, right? It's not always the broker's fault. The agent has a role in the situation. So if they're not willing to say, well, you know what, the broker was really good, but I just didn't apply myself, guess what? I'm more likely to give somebody like that a chance because guess what? I hope I can bring out the best in them and help motivate them and see their true potential where their other broker, they're not just pointing fingers at them. They're actually owning that maybe they didn't give it their all. Another thing we do with our potential agents is we are very upfront with them. We've talked about it before, but we make sure that we set expectations up front. Let them know that they are going to be on the phone a lot. They are going to be making a lot of outbound calls, because you don't want to get somebody in. We've made the mistake. We bring them in, they go through onboarding, and all of a sudden we say, okay, here you go, time to pick up the phone and call people. And they go, I have to call people. I don't want to call people. I don't want to talk to strangers. This is a relationship business. You are going to be talking to strangers. If you want to get additional business, talk to strangers. Real estate is the opposite of everything you learned as a child. In order to be successful in real estate, you must talk to strangers all day long, give them your name, give them your phone number, hell, tell them where you live. Take ice cream from them. Run with scissors if they tell you to. As long as they're going to buy a house, it doesn't matter.
That's so funny. That's what I'm talking about.
Another tip we have learned when hiring agents is don't just have one interview. Have multiple interviews. Maybe start with a phone call, maybe jump on a Zoom, because you're going to need to explain the brokerage model to them, as well as your team model, your team expectations. But you want to get to know them to make sure that you're not going to do all this as for nothing, because ultimately they're not a good cultural fit, right? They need to understand and align with your team and your core values and everything else that the team stands for. Like for me, I'm very upfront with people. I say, look, you may hear "fuck" out of my mouth more than once a day, more than twice a day, more than once a sentence. Hell, who knows, right? But that's the reality. I don't want them to come in and all of a sudden get culture shock because of the way that we do business here, right? Like, we are very open and honest, and like, this isn't some facade here. Like, this is me right now. If I cuss in this video, it's because I cuss in real life, right? I'm not cussing on this video to try to get views and attention. It's because I have a bad potty mouth. You must explain your core values to potential agents coming on your team, because guess what? If they don't align with them, they're not going to be a good fit, right? If you've got somebody that, again, this is goes back to the broker question. If it's always the other broker's problem or former boss's problem or everybody else's problem, they're going to have a tough time with OYS, right? They may not ever own their own shit, which is not going to be aligned with what our team's about, right? We raise our hand when we screw up. We say, yep, I did it, but I'm going to move to the solution. If you haven't developed your core values yet, we'll make another video to kind of explain how we came across ours and why they are so important to us and to the culture of our team. So you've had a great interview, you're very interested in this potential agent joining your team, make sure you follow up with them. We immediately send out a high note, which is an email that has a link in it so we can see when they open it and see when they click on all the different videos and stuff we send out to them. But we send them a recap of that final interview that basically has, our commission structure, team layout, core values, and everything that we've already explained to them. But then we can go back and see how often they click on it, so you can kind of tell their interest in the team as well. But it's important to reach back out to them. So somebody that I'm super interested in, I'll go ahead and send them a video text later that night, thanking them for the interview. And you know what? I've gotten some video texts back from people because, oh my God, Mark, it was so great to meet you. And you know what? They ended up being great fits for the team. But you send a video text out to somebody, you're also kind of like showing them what it's like to be on your team, because video is very important to us. We need to make sure that they're comfortable being on video and that they're comfortable watching video. Like a couple years ago, I was uncomfortable even watching somebody else, a complete stranger, on video, because it was like, God, I would never do that. That's so awkward, right? So if they freak out at you sending them a video, like, they may not be the right one.